Hey, Danny. So here's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm in Photoshop. I just downloaded your image here. You know, there are some nice things, but I was talking about how like this, looks like a cutout magazine photo. This is kind of quickly painted. This looks pretty slick, and this looks pretty slick. And then I've got this crown, but that this and this and this, they all feel kind of different, right? So I'm on crop right now, but what I want to do is get off a crop and go into something like select all. And then I know that you know this from last year, but just so that you can, to refresh your memory, if you go in here to filter, you can go to the filter gallery or start using some of these other filters like stylize, and like some of this might this might not work at all. Like I'm just going to try a couple of things out here, but let's say we wanted this to be more unified. Just going in and doing something like saying, okay, let's solarize it. Boom, everything's got a little different feel to it now. Don't like it, edit Z, or control Z. What if I go into the filter gallery? Now I've got a portion of this, and I'm going to move myself here. You can see over here in the filter gallery that I've got Sumi painting right now, right? And then I've got angled strokes. I've got the eyeball here, so this is showing me what Sumi would do. And then the angled strokes doesn't have the eyeball, so it's not showing me that one yet. But I could go in and say, okay, let's do both. Doesn't look like there was that big of a change there. But I could go in and say, okay, well, let's try something else. Like, what if I made this charcoal? You know, now everything's grayed out and I've got a different sort of look. Huh? Maybe that's too much, Maybe I want to do something like chalk and charcoal, and let's get rid of the angled strokes. And then let's say, okay. And of course, whenever you do something like make everything black and white, it unifies everything. But I think maybe if you play around with a couple of these things, do one thing on top of another, that could become something that feels like everything belongs together a little more, um, and shows a little bit more of a kind of like sophisticated response. Like okay, I started here, but then I realized that all these pieces are two obviously different sources, and that this would unify those things a little bit. So I'm not saying do this, but I'm saying experiment a little bit, and maybe then it kind of pulls together a little bit more. And then remember, like there are things that you can do, like applying. Here, I gotta move myself over again. But you can like apply masks and do layers and that sort of thing in here. So if you wanted to start taking some of your drawings, and we talked a little bit about, okay, these are pop culture images, and we can't go to the movies right now. We can't go to basketball games, or we couldn't for a while, and that could become part of your statement. That you could go in here, and do things like take this image, and then say, all right, I'm going to use select object, right? I'm going to kind of grab, whoops, I'm going to kind of like grab, why isn't it letting me do that? Oh, because that's all selected. Select, deselect, the good old days. All right, so like, let's select Michael Jordan. If you haven't done Photoshop since last year, watch this. You just draw a box around him. Remember when we had to do this by hand? But watch what's going to happen. I think it's thinking about it. I might have made it too hard by making everything too unified. But there it is. It almost got him, right? And now we go in, and you can say, like with your eraser tool, and it's on 100% opacity. No, that's flow opacity right over here. I could go in with like 50%. It's pretty small. Let's make it bigger. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then I could do like soft round instead of hard edge. But I could come in, I go, and start to erase parts of MJ, so that it's like he's fading out and can erase more and more, and or do it with the background. So it's like, oh, this is all going away, you know, and it's part of what we're missing right now. All right, that's a lot, but hopefully that helps. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not being critical. I'm just telling you what I think the people who are going to score your portfolios are going to be looking for. All right. And I know that you can do it. So I'm here to try to help you understand that so that you can get the best score you possibly can. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully,